Hi children, how are you? I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to my second session on tissues. So, in the first session, you learned so many things. Let us see briefly what all we learnt in our previous classes. In this chapter, we will be studying about unicellular organisms, plant tissue, animal tissues, and the various types of plant as well as animal tissues. So, in this session, which is about plant tissues, we have already studied about simple and complex permanent tissues. We have studied about parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Today, we will be studying about epidermal tissue and also xylem and phloem. Okay. Now, let us see what are the main teaching points in this chapter. We will be studying about the characteristic features of simple permanent tissue like epidermis and also the characteristic features of complex permanent tissues like xylem and phloem and also their other special features about it. In the next session, we will be studying about characteristic features of animal tissues like epithelial and muscular tissue and other special tissues. In the fourth session, we will be studying about the characteristic features of animal tissues like connective and nervous tissue and also other special features and also the most important of all, revision. So, welcome back. We will do some revision first. Here you are seeing an unicellular organism. Do unicellular organism respire? Yes, very much they do so. Do they take nutrition? Of course they do. Any organism for its survival needs food. And do the unicellular organism excrete or do excretion? Yes, they do. So, do they reproduce? Of course they do. So, by this you understood that a single celled organism for its survival, it is able to do all the life processes. But when evolution took place, unicellular organism, from that slowly multicellular organisms came into existence. Once they came into existence, it was a huge challenge for the multicellular organisms to perform all the activities. It was very simple, they divided the work among themselves. A few groups of cells performed respiration, a few group of cells performed excretion, a few nutrition, a few defense, a few reproduction. Like this they divided among themselves. So, like this a group of cells, okay, a group of cells which have common origin, structure and function, you call them as tissues. So, we studied about the tissues and also the branch of biology that deals with the study of tissues and their organization, you call it as histology. Whenever you study about tissues, three things have to be kept in your mind. One is how does it look like, that is the structure. What are the functions that it does, that is functions. Next, where is it, that is the location. If you know these three things, it is very easy to know the chapter. Now, first let us see what we studied in the previous class. Here I have a small sample of a plant body. Now, here from the root tip and I have marked the shoot tip. The tissue present in the root tip and the shoot tip are the growth tissues, they are apical meristems. They help in the growth of height as well as the depth. The shoot tip will help in increasing the height. The root tip will help in the increase in the depth. Next what? Now, let us see here the bud. So, in the bud region there are some meristematic tissues, that is the growth tissues which help in growth of the branches. Okay. And also not only that, in the stem also you find vascular bundles. In the vascular bundles you find transport tissues like xylem and phloem. In between that you find meristematic tissue. They will help in increasing the girth of the plant body, that is the stem will increase. So, you call them as lateral meristem. Here you can see between the two leaves, that part you call it as internodal region. So, the position near the leaf you call it as a node, and between the nodes you find internodal region. So, the length of the stem and all will increase, you call that meristem as intercalary meristem. So, like this meristems are of three types. One is apical meristem, lateral meristem, next is the intercalary meristem. Next we will go to another type of simple permanent tissue. This is a permanent tissue. So, in the simple and complex permanent tissues, we learned that simple tissues are usually of single one, whereas the complex permanent tissue may be many types. So, in the simple permanent tissue, this is the first tissue, that is parenchyma. You can see the cells are thin walled and there are lot of intercellular spaces. They are the primary tissues. They have the capacity to divide, they have cell division capacity, and these cells are present just next to the meristematic tissue, providing mechanical support to the meristematic tissue. Not only that, they temporarily store food as well as water. Okay. So, this is about the parenchyma. There are some special types of parenchyma where it is present in aquatic plants. Because of buoyancy, it is floating. Why is it floating? That is because this special type of parenchyma cells will have air filled in it. Because of the air, it attains buoyancy and it starts floating. So, such kind of parenchyma filled with air, you call them as aerenchyma. There is another type of parenchyma which helps in photosynthesis. Can you guess that? Yes, I am sure you can guess that. See, here you can see the cells have chloroplast in them, that is the green colored pigment called chlorophyll. This chlorophyll will help in photosynthesis, that means they can prepare their own food. So, this type of parenchyma meant for photosynthesis, you call this special type of parenchyma as chlorenchyma. So, these are the different types of parenchyma. One is aerenchyma and another one is chlorenchyma. Next we will go to another complex simple permanent tissue, and that you call it as collenchyma. Look at the cells, they are so beautifully arranged. You can see that they are slightly thick walled. They provide mechanical support to the plants. Not only that, if you look at the corners of the cells, they are slightly thickened. So, here the corners are slightly thickened, giving mechanical support to the plant body. For example, they are present in the leaves, they are present in the veins of the leaves, giving support to the leaf. Not only that, it is present next to parenchyma, giving support. So, next we will go to another type of simple permanent tissue, that is sclerenchyma. You can see the cells, they are so thick walled, they are highly thick walled. That is because of the deposition of lignin in them. Along with cellulose, hemicellulose, there is another cementing structure providing support, and that is lignin. Because of this lignin, it gives lot of mechanical support. So, where is it present? It is present in the hard seed coats. You have seen cashew nuts, coconuts, they are very hard, right? It is present there. It is also present in fiber like structures present in coconut fibers, etc. Initially these are elongated, they are alive, but later on because of the deposition it will become thickened and slowly it becomes dead. Once they are dead, you call them as sclerites and you call them as stone cells. They will become very, very hard. There is one more type of simple permanent tissue, and that you call it as epidermis. Here a lady is trying to remove the epidermis. You can see that she has taken a leaf and slowly pulling out the uppermost layer, which is appearing like plastic cover. Then she is adding 1 or 2 drops of water and finally cutting that plastic cover like substance. Actually it is the epidermis, and if you look it into the microscope, you can see the epidermal cells. This is a very simple experiment. So, if you look at the epidermal cells, they appear like this. So, where is the epidermis? Here I have taken a section of a leaf where all parts are there. So, where is this epidermis? So, it is the protective tissue or the outermost part of the body. It is just like the skin of plant body. So, where is it present? See it. See, that is the epidermal tissue. So, it is the outermost covering of the plant body. It mainly protects the plant body. Epi means above, dermis means layer. So, it is a layer present above, okay, and also below also it is present. Okay. Now, what is this? I want you to make note of all the points that I am telling you. So, please write down. So, what is epidermis? The outermost layer of the plant body is made up of epidermis. Usually epidermis is made up of single layer of cells, but it is not necessary that it should always be single layered. Sometimes depending on the necessity, it may be multi-layered also. So, next they are single cell in thickness. So, these epidermal cells are usually single cell in thickness. You can see that. Next, what does it do? It secretes a waterproof waxy layer called cuticle. So, you can see here the uppermost layer is a waxy coating like structure called cuticle. Cuticle is made up of a chemical called cutin. It acts as waterproof layer. This waterproof layer, what will it do is, if it is a terrestrial plant, because of its shiny surface, it reflects the light and conserves the water. So, it checks the rate of transpiration. Since it is a terrestrial plant, if it loses lots of water, it will die. So, it has to conserve water. For that, it reflects the light, and this cuticle will help like that. Whereas, in the aquatic plants, this cuticle is very thick. So, it will not allow excess of water to enter the plant body. If more water enters the plant body will decay and die. So, like this cuticle helps in checking the rate of transpiration. Isn't it wonderful? Now, let us see the point. So, cuticle protects from loss of water, not only that, mechanical shocks, and also it protects from fungi, fungal infection, etc. Now, in the epidermis, you find small pores present, guarded by a few cells which are bean shaped. You call them as stomata, and the pores you call them as stomatal pores. So, how does it look like? See, they are bean shaped cells or kidney shaped cells. They are called as guard cells or the stomatal cells. Inside that you find a hole or a pore. You call it as stomatal pore. So, this pore helps in transpiration and also exchange of gases. So, whenever the plant requires carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, it enters through these stomatal pores, and whenever it wants to throw out oxygen, it throws out here through that only. And during respiration, it requires oxygen. That time it takes oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. In general, you can tell that these stomatal pores will mainly help in exchange of gases. I hope you understood these epidermal cells. So, please write down, leaves have small pores in them. You call them as stomata. Stomata helps in transpiration and exchange of gases. So, by opening and closing of the stomata, they will check the rate of transpiration. If the transpiration has to be done less, that is, the water has to be conserved, the stomatal cells will come near and the pore will become small and transpiration will be less. Like this, it checks the rate of transpiration. Next, where all you find these epidermal cells? these epidermal cells sometimes modify according to the need. For example, you see here it is found in the outermost protective tissue in young plant. Not only that, it is also present in the roots. You know that roots have primary roots. To the primary roots you have secondary roots. To the secondary roots you find tertiary roots. In the tertiary roots you find root hair. In the root hair, this absorption of water and minerals from the soil is done by these epidermal cells. They are specialized, modified epidermal cells. Not only that, in the insectivorous plants, to digest the insect, there are special glands in the insectivorous plants. They will help in secretion of enzymes for digesting the insect. So, those are also specialized epidermal cells. Not only that, you also see that vascular bundles are present. Surrounding the vascular bundles, you find epidermis. So, where else you find them? It is found in the mature plants with soft stems. There also you find epidermis. Not only that, you also find these as dead cells in the hard branches. So, epidermis is present there also. You can see the outer coating which is very hard. There also you find epidermal cells. Not only that, surrounding the xylem and phloem, there also you find epidermis. Now, we will come to the next complex permanent tissue, that is xylem and phloem. Let us see what are they. These complex tissues are usually made up of more than one type of cells. So, initially they are alive, but later they will be dead. So, complex permanent tissues have both living as well as dead cells. So, there are two types of complex permanent tissues. One is the xylem. It is the water and mineral transporting tissue. It transports water and minerals. And another one is phloem. It is the food transporting tissue. Now, let us see the xylem tissue. So, here xylem is of four types. Let us see which are the four types. Now, xylem, it has xylem vessels. So, you can see where it is present, xylem vessels. Next, you find xylem tracheids. Next, you can see xylem parenchyma, slightly outside. Next, you see xylem fibers. So, you understood there are four types of xylem. So, write down children. Xylem conducts water and mineral salts. It consists of four types of tissues. One is the tracheids, another one is the vessels, third is xylem parenchyma, and fourth one is the xylem fibers. So, now let us know each one of them, where they are present, what do they do. Okay. First is the xylem parenchyma. It is just like any other parenchyma. It is loosely connected, it is living, it has intercellular spaces, it has thin cell wall, and it is living, so it will divide. So, looking at it you can understand. So, you find some more xylem parenchyma as they mature, you can see here. So, that is the xylem parenchyma, you can see that. Next, see here one more sample is there, that is the xylem parenchyma. So, they are living cells. So, what do? They store food and water, and they transport to some extent water also. So, they temporarily store food and water. So, all these are different types of xylem parenchyma. So, its main function is storage and transport of water, chiefly water. So, this xylem parenchyma is also called as wood parenchyma. Now, let us see. Xylem is found in the logs of wood also. So, here you can see, so that is the xylem tissue present in wood also. Now, here we will see next about xylem fibers. So, these are the xylem fibers. They mainly provide mechanical support to other tissues. So, that is one more thing. So these xylem fibers are also called as wood fibers. So by this time you might have understood xylem is present in wood. So xylem fibers, they are not alive and they provide support, especially mechanical support. After attaining maturity, wood fibers lose cytoplasm and they fully function as xylem fibers. You can see them. So these are the cells. There is no cytoplasm, there is no nucleus. So completely they will help in support. Then what are these tracheids? Xylem tracheids. So xylem tracheids are found at the tips of the leaves. So they mainly function in transportation of water. You can see them, the cellular nature is beautifully shown here. So these xylem tracheids are found at leaf tips. You can see the video here. I am showing you xylem tracheids. So it is just like a long tube where transportation of water is taking place. You can see them, how it is going. You can see stomata also here. So stomata you can see here. So I hope you understood what are these. So both the xylem tracheids and vessels, they both help in conduction of water and minerals. Next we will go to phloem tissue. It is the food conducting tissue. I hope you will remember this. So there are 4 types of cells in the phloem tissue. If you look at that, it just looks like a sieve which your mother uses. So in Kannada it is called as jaradi tatte. So these cells are called sieve tubes. Those cells are called sieve tubes and the plate like structure is called as sieve plate. Next you find adjacent to that, next to that immediately you call them as companion cells. Name itself suggests companion cells, it will always be present next to sieve tubes. Next you find the living cells, you call them as phloem parenchyma. And finally the dead cells, that is the phloem fibers found at the outside. So basically phloem is a food conducting tissue, please write down, and it is made up of 4 types of tissue. One is sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Understood? Now we shall go to each one of them. So the first one is sieve tubes. As the name itself suggests, they are just like tubes. And you know what should go through these tubes? Food should enter these tubes. So if you look at this, I am showing you phloem tissue. I am zooming and showing you the sieve plates. They are beautifully seen. You can see the movement of food from top portion, that is the leaves, to various parts. You can see the sieve plates. Very beautifully seen if you observe. So children, sieve tubes, they contain pores and they help in the conduction of food. Next we will see companion cells. You can see the companion cells, they are found just next to the sieve tubes. You can see them, they are very much alive. So since they are alive, they have their own specific functions. What other cells are present apart from companion cells? You can see phloem fibers. You can see phloem fibers, they are dead cells. You cannot see any cytoplasm or nucleus, they are dead cells. So what do these companion cells do? They control the conduction of food in the sieve tubes. Here you can see phloem fibers. No matter how much the wind is blowing, you see that the stem is not breaking, but it is bending and waving flexibly. This is one way of helping itself not to break, but it is flexible. So it gives the support, but it is flexible in such a way that it does not break. That is more important. So phloem fibers, they are not alive and they provide support to the plant body. Next we will see phloem parenchyma. you can see the cells are alive. The below cells that you are seeing, blue colored, they are phloem parenchyma, they are very much alive. You can see them, they are very much alive. So, let us see what is their function. They help in storage of food and also conduction of food. Now, there is a small activity to you. I want you to do this. You can do it very easily. Take a tender balsam plant. In Kannada, you call it as Karnakundala Gida. Keep this plant in red colored water for 3 hours. If you want, you can keep it for more. Then observe the stem in bright light. What has happened to the stem? If you observe through the bright light, you can see what has happened to the stem. Are the leaves and the stem colored? What may be the reason for this? Name the tissue responsible for this. You can very easily see in this. If you find it difficult to select this balsam plant, you can use radish root also. Wash the radish root, do the same experiment, you can get the activity done. You can see very beautiful experiment in front of you. Please do this activity. Next, I am giving you another activity. Take 4 dicot leaves, any 4 dicot leaves, and also Vaseline. Apply Vaseline to the specified portions that I am going to tell you. For one leaf, you apply Vaseline on the upper surface. For second leaf, you apply Vaseline for the lower surface. For the third leaf, you apply at the tip. For the fourth leaf, do not apply Vaseline at all. Next, what we have to do? Next, keep all the 4 leaves in sunlight for a few hours and then observe the condition of the leaves. And you have to see whether they are fresh or they have wilted, etc., etc., and you have to reason out what may be the reason for this. Please think, think, think. It is a good exercise for your brain. Next, let me give you some homework. It is important. First, list out the characteristic features of meristematic tissue. Next, briefly explain the structure of permanent tissue. Name the tissue that is loosely packed and stores food. Next, what are the functions of the cuticle? Next, name the plate-like structure that contains pores and is between the sieve cells. Okay, now I want you to answer a few quiz questions. So, I want you to see this video, watch this video. That lady is trying to break the stem of the plant, but is she able to do that? Is she succeeding? Of course, she is not able to succeed. Now, I want you to tell me, name the tissue that is allowing the plant not to break. Okay? You do that work, you think and answer. Come on. You want me to give the options? Xylem parenchyma, phloem parenchyma, phloem fibers, sieve tubes. Yes, you are absolutely right. It is phloem fibers. Thank you very much, children. I hope you study very well. Bye. Take care.